You know, for better or worse, the professor changed my life. And to think I didn't want anything to do with that role at first.
Me? I wanted to do the pilot. I just finished a long run on Dobie Gillis playing Maynard G. Krebs. Work! A true beatnik with rhythm, like Bongos Man. So I don't think I was exactly the first choice for Gilligan. I heard they were looking at Jerry Van Dyke.
That's right, they sent me the script, but I wasn't that crazy about it. All right, I thought it was awful. It's the worst script I've ever read in my life. I was looking for a hit, and this sure wasn't it. Besides, my agent had me lined up for a surefire hit. A series called My Mother the Car. Guaranteed to last forever. I've had longer showers.
Our show has played more often and in more places than any other television series in history. And that includes I Love Lucy. We are playing daily all over the world and in 30 languages. No one would have guessed that in the beginning, including the network.
Absolutely the worst idea I've ever heard.
No question. The worst.
7 people on an island week after week. How many stories could you get out of that? 2, 3?
Who'd ever watch something like that?
I'll tell you who'd watch it. Nobody.
That's who.
I disagree. Respectfully. Look, I've been doing comedy now for...
We know your background.
Skelton, Hope, the Emmy and all. You're a funny guy.
But when it comes right down to it, you're just a writer. We're the network. You have to trust we know what we're talking about, Sherwood.
Sherwood Schwartz was the creator and producer of the show. The same guy that came up with the Brady Bunch a few years later. A huge talent. You'd think the network would listen to him. They had just gotten a taste of power.
There's a story there. It has something to do with that little boat we set sail on. You remember the name of it? Uh-huh. The SS Minnow. Most of you probably assume that the minnow referred to a small fish. Actually, it was a private joke on Sherwood Schwartz's part. Back in the early 60s, many of the most popular television shows were designed only to entertain.
A strange intersection in the Shadowland called the Twilight Zone. You're the first time traveler in the history of man.
What do you want people to see Americans as?
Newton Minnow was the FCC chairman at the time. And the irony is, he didn't even like television.
But when television is bad, nothing is worse. I invite you to sit down in front of your television set when your station goes on the air and keep your eyes glued to that set until the station signs off. I can assure you, you will observe a vast wasteland.
A vast wasteland? Ouch. His solution was to have the networks take more control of what they put on the air. And they did.
So what you're saying is, you know comedy.
Look at our track record. We just don't understand what this is.
They understood Gomer Pyle and they understood the Beverly Hillbillies, but this concept escaped them?
Don't get us wrong. We like the boat, the whole cruise business idea.
It's different. Fresh.
Well, good, great. Then let's go ahead.
But what if every week it's another trip, different passengers, guest stars?
Actually, they might have been onto something, but the Love Boat was still years away.
That's not my series. You see, these people have to be stranded, so they're forced to become a family, depend on one another.
What I had in mind was to create a social microcosm.
A what?
A social microcosm. 7 castaways representing different parts of society today. The hardworking middle-class kind of guy, the millionaire, the intellectual.
Intellectual?
See, that concerns us. You're aiming too high, Sherwood. If we wanted Plato, we would have hired Plato.
You could try, but trust me, you couldn't afford him.
Sorry, not our kind of show, but try us again.
Okay, so if the criticism was that there weren't enough possible plots, he'd prove them wrong. Sherwood came up with dozens, more than a season's worth.
To make sure they knew it was a comedy, he had to find the right title. I mean, would you have watched if it was called Mortimer's Island or, Ichabod's Island? No. Well, it could have been, considering where he found the name.
Abernathy. No. Dunderson. Not funny.
Eventually, he got to the G's. Huh.
Gilligan.
Gilligan.
Gilligan's Island.
Well, it certainly sounds funny.
That's because it is. And here are a few plots, just to get the ball rolling. 31 feet of them.
Well, that's very impressive, Sherwood. These are all storylines you developed?
That's right.
And you've got 31?
You know, I actually did those little
This
drawings.
could be another big hit like Dobie Gillis.
Good.
Bye-bye, Dear Island.
Faced with the answers for every question they had, the network agreed to make a pilot episode. They gave it what's called a green light.
I wasn't on the first cruise, that original episode. And neither was Dawn, and neither was Tina Louise.
Well, there wasn't even a character named Marianne at first. It was somebody named Bunny. Bob, on the other hand, was the first and only Gilligan.
It was pure entertainment, pure silly fun, the kind of thing I love to do. And Sherwood and I found common ground right from the start. That's me with the book. Well, okay, it's an actor playing me, but well, you get the idea.
Robinson Crusoe. My favorite story growing up. So is this where the idea came from?
Who knows where ideas come from? They just suddenly appear. The trick is spotting them when they show up at your door.
Could I do physical comedy in this show?
Oh, sure, I'm counting on it.
I mean real slapstick. Pratfalls, double takes. I've never had the chance to do all that.
Well, other than Lucy, there's really nothing on TV like it these days. Besides, we need more clowns. Here, I'll tell you what. Take this, read it, and let me know what you think.
What can I say? I've always had a strange sense of humor.